Hello, today let's talk about second model in the KiiBOOM lineup of two earphones. It's named Evoke. I already reviewed the Allure first version single dynamic driver, and now it's more expensive hybrid model with dynamic driver and dual balanced armatures. It offers different design. Actually, they have a few different options of shells on their website, and price depends on the shell is $170 to about $200. So first model was pretty fancy tuned and I enjoy it. And let's have a closer look and let's find out what second version gives us. As you can see, package is also pretty bright, interesting in terms of design, but of course the most interesting part is the internals of this box. And inside we're getting basically the same presentation. Big, nice leather case that holds not that much inside. Just earphones, stock cable, and 3 pair of silicone tips. Of course, it's pretty minimalistic, but I must admit that this case is pretty convenient and you can use it for many other stuff. Here are earpieces themselves, and you can notice not only different design but also a different cable. So let's disconnect one earpiece to see it in more details. So nice resin shell, ergonomic shape, fitting nicely into ears, of course, especially if you are a seasoned audiophile, so your ears must accommodate to this shape. And nice face plates with, I'd say that it's effect of glass shards, but maybe they have other name like emerald or something like that. It's not too bright, but looks fancy, especially under bright light. It's interesting to look at it. And they have nice spouts, average in terms of length, and sound isolation is also average. You can spot vent hole on the top that says that they spent some time tuning the driver inside. There is a lip for holding the tips and protective grill, of course, and in general build quality is pretty nice. So nothing super stellar, but really good for this price. It's traditional and pretty convenient. And they made replaceable stock cable, used 2 pin connectors without any deviation from the standard, no recessed pins or recessed socket. So let me untangle it. Excuse me, still need a bit of time. So cable looks pretty bright, looks also really solid. It's pretty thick, but at the same time it's definitely soft. So there is almost zero microphonics effect, and especially with the help of these ear hooks, and it's just nice and pleasant in terms of sense and also look. There is a splitter with chin slider, and it's also made in hexagonal shape as it was before with Allure model, and also they made it braided nicely and it goes to the regular 3.5mm jack. So of course accessory set could be a bit wider, but in general design and presentation looks really well. And of course about the sound. I burned them in for about 48 hours, but there were no big changes, so don't need to spend time burning them in. More important to find proper fitting tips. I've read some feedback that people like third-party tips, but actually for me the stock tips, the biggest ones, were more than okay. And in general, you know, in terms of tuning, they did what I wanted. They took Allure, they took their warm and rich saturated bass, and on top of that they put 2 balanced armatures by Knowles. One armature is responsible for mids and lower treble, and second one for the rest of the treble, and basically it gives you a musical engaging representation, so rich weighty bass and clean and crisp mids and treble, but at the same time sound is not fatiguing, and it's still a good solution for those who don't like too many treble. But of course here you'll get still more treble than Allure. In general, it gives you pleasant musical representation and really good for long listening sessions, especially if you like low frequencies. Bass is pretty good, goes almost to maximum depth, but main accent is made on the mid bass. There is an additional weight, so resolution is good, but speed is not maximum, because they decided to make additional weight, and it gives that sense of warm signature that highlights the body of instruments and suits well for electronic music and pop music, but still texturing is really nice, and they even try to portray some lower overtones. Basically, bass is pretty universal if you like it a bit more than traditional. And for example, here I will use Robert Plant and the Strange Sensation, Another Tribe. Interesting track with a lot of deep hitting drum kicks, and these earphones play it nicely, and at the same time accent at low frequencies doesn't shadow mids. And also I must admit that they have a really good coherency. The place where driver frequency bands are stitched are almost absolutely not noticeable, so really good work in terms of coherence. Mid frequencies is like balanced armatures, but but without sharp focus on the micro contrast. You'll get a good detalization and zero additional weight, zero attempts to highlight dynamics. There is a bit of coloration from the bass, but not too much. And you'll get good imaginary stage, noticeably above average in width and in depth, but not huge in general. And to get the most of them, you'll have to find some well-recorded tracks, because balanced armatures just play what they receive. So you won't get that absolutely analytical audiophile representation, but at the same time you won't get that weighty dynamic driver. They are in between and doing the stuff great. You'll get good resolution, you'll get emotions, you'll get sense of realism, but at the same time it won't sound too sharp or over exaggerated or something like that. And as an example for the mid frequencies, it's Pink Floyd, Money. Of course, their bass line is also nicely highlighted by these earphones. But of course, main star of this show is different 3D effects and guitar. And these earphones represent both of them really good, thanks to good staging and nice resolution that delivers you all the small nuances, but without over-focusing them. And treble also really balanced. It's brighter and more energetic compared to the Allure, let's say, but at the same time it's pretty safe choice for those who don't like super accented treble, so they definitely not overdo the treble in terms of energy, in terms of piercing or sharpness. Extension is above average, but not maximum. Of course, typically for this price range, layering is super limited, but overtone saturation is nice, and actually that clarity in the treble area, balancing lower frequencies really well, giving you both like warmth and at the same time decent detalization and good sense of realism for the instruments. And as an example here I will use one of the greatest Ukrainian heavy metal bands, Motanka, track Desю horakh, Somewhere in the Mountains. And they have a lot of instruments, they have guitars, percussion, skillful vocalist, and a lot of that things goes to the treble area, and actually these earphones play that part really well. So, in terms of sources, actually they will benefit from the good digital to analog converter or some mid-segment player. I mean, of course, it's not necessary to buy them like Kane Root 6 or Lotu Po S2 or Luxury and Precision, But at the same time, cheaper digital tonal converters is also not the best choice for them. So roughly speaking, I don't like to define segments by price, but roughly speaking, it's from $100 to $200. But of course, there could be exceptions in both sides, definitely. As for comparisons, to be honest, I don't remember models in this price range. I reviewed a lot of them that fit into this price tier, of course. But, you know, like when I came to this part, my head is totally empty. So if you will be interested in some comparisons, just feel free to ask in the comments. If I know and remember that model, I can write a few words. But in general, I can summarize that it's a really good model for those who don't want to go into the audiophilia, but at the same time want to get fun, musical, non-fatiguing, but at the same time good sound in terms of technicality. So I really like first two models by KiiBOOM, and I really hope that they will develop and they have special page on their websites for some headphones that says to be coming soon, and I really hope that we'll see a lot of offers in the audio market from them. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.